Sometimes you work on projects and you think you're just about done and going to do something simple, and it turns into a damn can of worms, man. Like this door, it's about 11 feet long. 68 3/4 on this side. Hold on. Let me show you. 68 1/8 on this side. So 5/8 of an inch out of level. And we were almost done with the outside. I was just going to do a simple door level, and it turned into this.
What the fuck is this?
Is the rim board out?
There's nothing.
As you can see, we took the door out. We saw some water damage, what we thought. So we started prodding around, and look at that. Dude, that used to be 3 2x12s for the rim board. 2 of them are gone. Little did we know that the fun was just about to start. Now, as you see here, this had a flagstone walkway around the front of these doors, and they were on some insufficient footing, which was just block. But all the wood, all the subfloor, all the wood framing was below grade. It was not flashed properly, and they just backfilled with mud, and that just held water. And the termites, man, they partied it up. They've been partying for 15 years in this thing. This structure has a basement, so we had to go into the basement, create a temporary wall, brace it up, jack everything up off of the sill plate down to the concrete foundation. That way, because the sill plate was trash. Look, I mean, water is just oozing out of this thing. Just terrible.
Sometimes it may be good,
sometimes it may be shit. And to see all this, we didn't know it. I mean, we did some work in the basement, and on the inside 2x12 rim board was perfect. But there was only a ½ inch left of it. So, I mean, this was after the fact. I mean, this was all hidden. So we actually had to come upstairs, put a temporary wall up there so we could get the bottom plates and everything out from this level. Getting ready to install the new sill plate, and I had to grind off all the bolts. Some of the concrete was jacked up, and we had to smooth it out. But I'm going to use OSI. I usually use, most time I just use a aluminum flashing, but I really wanted to seal it. That way water would not be an issue, because the grade is still going to have to be, some of this wood is still going to have to be under finished grade, which we are properly going to flash and seal and backfill with the correct materials, so it will not be an issue later on down the road. Once we got all the bottom plates and everything tore out of there, we started putting back 2x12s, got them up tight against the floor joist, and we're going to use joist hangers to kind of, because they're not sitting on a lot, actually. These joists were actually cut too short, but we do have about 2 inches underneath them, plus a joist hanger just to give them some extra support. So instead of doing 3 2x12s, I opted to do some squash blocks, and then we'll just put a finished one on the outside, and that will be plenty support for the wall, which most of this is underneath the door anyhow. Now that we have the framing done on this little section of wall, I'm going to use some subfloor glue. I like to use the Advantech glue, the foam, versus just the regular F26, but hey, I did not have that many square feet to do, so we just used the F26 and then screwed it down. And the fun continues around the corner. Tell them what they've won. We had to bust concrete out, more flagstone out. All this stuff was pitched towards the house. And they got some ice and weather shield here. I don't know. I don't even know what it was. It's nothing proper. 2 or 3 penetrations through the side of the floor joist. And then you got these some bees right here. We just kept tearing out until we'd had no signs of termite or water damage. And luckily, it was right here around the corner. Now, we put the Diablo Sawzall blades through the ringer on this thing, man. We used the fire out of them. Our floor joists are running parallel with this wall, so we opted to go back to the first good floor joist, cut the Advantech out at that point. We'll go back in and put some lookouts with joist hangers, and then we will double the rim joist up on the outside. That way we have enough support for that 2x6 wall. It's crazy to think that a little bitty bug can create this much damage over the years, that and some water, but golly. But we got it fixed. All the floor joists on this side are put back. Luckily, we had good wood on that corner. We snuck the bottom plates in there, got everything screwed down, tied back in, and we're ready to install some zip wall. And this is the first step of our waterproofing component. There are many steps in this application that we have here. So, but this is the first one. Be sure to roll your tape. Gots to roll the tape. All right, moving around to the front side. Tell me you got water and termite damage without telling me you've got water and termite damage. Here, I'll go first. Oh man, I think we replaced 80 feet worth approximately of rim board and seal plate. The damage started to slow up right here, thankfully. We think we only had to replace some sheathing and 1 layer of the rim board. I don't know why it kind of subsided right here, but I'm glad it did. Yummy. make my skin crawl with a head itch. But this is the last section of really serious tear out we had to do. Of course, everything's running parallel with this wall. We've got line sets, condensate drains that we already had prepped in there before, but we had to work around that. Joist hanger, did a little lookout. Then we're gonna have 2 rim boards, a double rim board on the outside to carry the load for the wall to set on. All right, y'all, we're just finishing up the reframe work on this termite and water damage video. If you'd like to see how we executed the flashing process, be sure to come on back. There's going to be a lot to see. We'll be using some great products and techniques to repel the water and drain it away from the foundation. If you like what we're doing, be sure to hit that subscribe button